In the 1800s, the A.H. Belo Company began as a newspaper business with properties in Galveston and Dallas. For 80 years, it was newspapers only. But in 1922, G.B. Dealey's son Walter insisted Belo expand into a new technology, radio.
Walter thought this is the way of the future. He thought this is more important than the newspaper. Walter was able to establish a radio station, WFAA, which in his view stood for Working for All Alike.
WFAA Radio first operated out of the Dallas Morning News building. Robert Decherd says it's a good thing Walter was able to persuade Dealey and the rest of the board to invest in radio, something they all saw as high risk.
He was persuasive. Thank heavens he was persuasive, because as a result the company was able to make it through the Depression off of the revenues of WFAA Radio, which was an explosive new medium.
In the 20s and 30s, radio remained strong, but in the 40s, a new technology emerged: television. Among the Belo leadership, not everyone was eager to try it.
However, there were people in the company who were very interested in this new business of television.
So in 1950, they acquired a TV station from an oil man who had bought it on a whim. A.H. Belo renamed the TV station WFAA.
The early WFAA television was sort of a by the seat of your pants kind of operation, just figuring things out as you go along.
It would be the first of several television purchases. In 1983, the company bought a group of 6 stations from Dun & Bradstreet. At that time, it was the largest television purchase in history. And the number was so high, the person making the offer, Jim Moroney Jr., had to rehearse saying it. His son picks up the story.
$606,000. And he said, I just couldn't get my head around offering $606 million, so I kept saying 606,000. So they had me write out, $606 million, so I'd look down at it and make the right offer.
Suddenly, we were a very large group broadcaster. We were in the VHF business and wanted to own large market television stations with an emphasis on journalism.
A little more than a decade later, in 1997, A.H. Belo was ready to grow again, this time in print and broadcast. A $1 billion-plus offer was made for the Providence Journal Company, the largest acquisition in Belo's history.
We saw in the Providence Journal Company a much larger television group, meaning combining theirs and ours, and a very distinguished newspaper, the Providence Journal, a Pulitzer Prize-winning paper with great history.
A company that began in the 19th century with one newspaper in Galveston entered the 21st century as a media company with properties across the country. A new century brought new technology with the explosion of the internet. But the idea of delivering the news via computer is something the company began experimenting with decades earlier.
In the late 1970s and early 1980s, we were part of a group, NSDG. It was a partnership with IBM, and it was all about how you take our content and deliver it via a computer network to the home or business.
Decherd says no matter where or how you get your news, editing is key. It is a role the A.H. Belo Company will continue to perform.
If you're talking about news and information that helps you be a well-informed citizen, you want, you need, you expect there to be that editing element. And that's what we've got to preserve. That's what this company has been about for 175 years. That's the purpose we were created to serve.